Aloha! My name is Hadley. I work here at the Bishop Museum, and with me today is DeSoto Brown. He's our historian in the Library and Archives. DeSoto, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about the history of Waikiki.
Oh.
And the reason we're going to do that is because we've got our upcoming Duke Kahanamoku exhibit. And the Duke Kahanamoku exhibit opens on August 9th, 2015, and it closes on November 30th, 2015. And since Duke spent a great deal of his life in Waikiki because he loved all the recreational water activities there and he grew up there, let's talk about Waikiki in connection with Duke.
Great. Sounds like a perfect plan.
All right, so I've got some photographs here. And here's our first picture. So Ms. Hadley gets to look at these and try to figure out what she thinks is going on in some of these pictures that are all about Waikiki, of course.
Okay, so it looks like some sort of boat race since everybody's gathered along the shore and there are several canoes there.
Okay, well, I think you're right. Just to explain what we're talking about here, where my finger is there, that's Diamond Head. So that gives us a sense of where we are. Waikiki Beach. This big structure here is the Moana Hotel dining room, which has been gone for many, many years. And this right here is the original Outrigger Canoe Club. And so that building was the site of where a lot of the early surfing activity happened at Waikiki starting in the early 20th century and other types of water activities. So we've got right here a canoe with a mast, so it's a sailing canoe. But it's not a... It's like based on a traditional Hawaiian design probably, but it's for recreational activities. So
that's what got me confused because I saw the tip and that definitely looks like an outrigger canoe that I've seen. Right. I was confused by the mast.
Correct. Well, but that's true. So see, what was going on at Waikiki was kind of a combination of some traditional Hawaiian activities as well as outside Western style activities. And yeah, as you can see, this is probably about 1915. There are lots of people on the beach. So Waikiki was not necessarily just a little quiet place in the world. There have been people there for 100 years or more, because that was 100 years ago. It's kind of hard to believe. All right, now this is going to really puzzle you. Probably.
Okay.
It is Waikiki.
And I do see surfboards and outrigger canoes.
Right.
But I don't see a lot of water. It's a little bit.
Okay.
So where in
So
Waikiki
what the heck is this? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is actually just where we just were looking at a picture of. This is also the Outrigger Canoe Club. Now, it's really deceptive because right here there's a little bit of water. Well, that's because it's a stream. It's not the ocean. The ocean is out on this side. This is one of the streams that used to run through Waikiki. There were 3 major streams, and this is called Apua Kehau Stream. So on this side, where we kind of are looking from, that's where the Moana Hotel is. The Outrigger Canoe Club was on the other side of the stream. Today, this site is where the Outrigger Hotel is. And the reason there's no stream there anymore is a really important one, which leads us to our next photograph. And see if you can figure out what's going on in this.
Is this with the building of the Alawai Canal?
Yes, very good. No, that's very good because this is the Alawai Canal being dredged in the early 1920s. And what they did was they had this device, this dredging device. It started in the ocean where the Alawai Yacht Harbor is today, and then it gradually just dug its way in through the ground, essentially. A lot of Waikiki at that point was marshland. It had standing water, and Waikiki was essentially a place of water. What the word Waikiki means, spouting water, referring to spring water or water that's coming from the mountains down through the streams. So when the Alawai Canal was dug, the streams that came from the mountain were intercepted, and all of that water that just went out to the ocean through where the Alawai Yacht Harbor is today. And the stream beds, which used to exist, and the other watery areas where people had grown taro and then rice, were all filled in by the stuff that the dredge dug up. So the dredge is digging, and then all of that stuff was piped through these big movable pipes to be dumped. It's kind of like coral chunks to fill in all that land. So that's why Waikiki looks the way it does today, and that's why it's all solid land. And most of the streets that are in Waikiki were laid out after this was done in the 1920s.
So I had no idea about a lot of that. I knew that Waikiki had previously previously been a marshland. I
Right.
didn't know that it had 3 streams that were
Right,
feeding it.
right,
and
right.
I knew the Aloi had taken a lot of that.
Correct.
So that's...
So that's, I mean, it's what you think is, you know, not only is Waikiki a big city today, which it is just by itself, but it also was a tremendous change ecologically because it changed all of the water flow into the ocean, and it changed all of the plants and animals that had lived in Waikiki when it was a marshland, essentially. So all of that is gone today and forgotten, pretty much.
And Duke saw all these changes.
And Duke saw all these changes. That's exactly right, because Duke was alive. He was a young man. Duke was born in 1890, so by the time the Aloi Canal was being built, he was already an adult, and he saw these things happen. It is amazing. All right, that's an easy one to figure out.
Oh, that's Diamond Head. That's Kalakaua Avenue?
That is Diamond Head with Kalakaua Avenue in the foreground. This is the view from the Moana Hotel in 1926. And the thing I like to point out about this picture, several things. First of all, do you see a lot of cars?
No, but
No.
I see it. Okay, you see... That looks like a Ford.
Well, it is, yeah, there are a handful of cars, but obviously in 1926 there weren't as many cars.
No, definitely not.
And right in the middle of the street is a streetcar. That was run by the Honolulu Rapid Transit Company, and it ran on tracks like a train, and it was electric. So it got power from wires that were overhead, and it's got a connection going up to the wires, and that's how it runs itself.
How long was that in existence?
Those streetcars were in Honolulu from about 1900 up to 1941. And they went out of use in 1941. That was the end of them. A lot of American cities didn't, I mean, that was quite early for most American cities. A lot of them kept running streetcars into maybe even the 50s and 60s. And the other thing that's different is, of course, there aren't any high-rise buildings.
There's so many palm trees.
And there are so
other
many
trees.
palm trees. And this was when Waikiki was still either private homes or small rental homes. So there aren't any big houses there. I mean, aren't any big, you know, apartments or hotels. And these right here, along the beach side, those are still private homes, which is quite an astonishing idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Duke lived up until 1968, so he saw Waikiki as it began to boom and really grow in the 1960s. And here's a view in 1957, and that's the Princess Kaiulani Hotel in the background, which opened in 1955. Over here is the International Marketplace, which opened that year, and which was just demolished last year and is now being rebuilt. But these buildings right along here, these commercial buildings, stores, they're still there. So some of Waikiki has buildings that are sort of old. And those aren't that old, but that for Waikiki, that is old. So that's a quick history of Waikiki, and that's our connection to our Duke Kahanamoku exhibit that's coming up. And the other thing we want to tell you is...
For more information, you can visit us on www.bishopmuseum.org. You can find out more about our Duke Kahanamoku exhibit and all of the offerings that Bishop Museum, all the things Bishop Museum has to offer.
Which are very numerous and lots of fun, and do come and see us.